Order the meeting of the Woodville Voltech School Committee. Please call the roll.
Here, could,
Ms. True? Here. Ms. O'Connor? Here. Mr. Slavoski?
here.
Oh, Mr.
I'm here. Oh, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Anyone here for public comment? Once, twice, no one, and there was no written public comment submitted before the meeting, correct? All right. Show for the record, I think Chip is in it. Chip, can you hear us?
You're on mute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
You.
Can you hear me now?
Approval of minutes, October 9th, 2024, minutes of the regular school committee meeting. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, move to October 9th minutes.
Motion by Mr. Urban, second by Mr. Murphy. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't here.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
All right, does Mr. O'Connor's voice thing work? Because you have to be able to, per the remote meetings, in order to count his vote, you have to be able to hear it.
Angel, I think if you check the volume on the side of the TV,
Oh, that's what it is.
check the volume on the side, I had turned it down.
1 second, I think they muted you, Chip.
Yeah, 1 second.
Mr. O'Connor, can you say something?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. For the record, your vote on that roll call was yes or no?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is payments of bills and financial report, treasurer's report. Kevin Mahoney, from Kevin Mahoney. Is there a motion on the treasurer's report?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Ms. True,
Second.
seconded by UPIC. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
Passes.
Mr. Chair, point of order, I just wanted to raise that on this agenda item, which appears, it does say payment of bills as well as financial report, and I was reminded, but both our policy and our statute states that the member shall make available to the board or committee at the first meeting following such action, a record of such actions. So I know typically in other districts, there is a material provided that's the backup for the warrant.
Hold on 1 second. Whoever did that can fix it. Testing, 1, 2. No, we can still hear ourselves.
Yes, you can hear.
Still an issue? Yeah. Still an issue? No? Good? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
No
okay.
one could hear you because it was echoing.
Because it was echo, no, I understand. Typically, school committees will, while one person will sign the warrant will be included in the supporting materials for the review of the full committee. Typically, it's something that's put on a consent agenda to be approved. I just wondered if that was a practice that Whittier School Committee has had, and if not, if we could consider adding that for consideration.
Exactly. On the warrants. Gara,
The
the
question
warrants.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you over there.
Oh, sorry. The question is about the warrants.
Detail.
I know we delegate, I think,
Three.
Joanne, okay.
There are three people.
That sign the warrants on behalf of the committee. Typically, and there's statutory language, and I think a policy language as well for us, that says that a report of the warrant will be provided to be reviewed by the full committee. Is that something that we have done, or is that something that
We always have listed, we've simply always listed the individual warrants that have been paid that you see on the bottom of the report. That is how we have done it.
So I think what she's talking about, Kara, is probably how you remember doing it back in the day, and is they are listed on here, but just a dollar amount, and the details of the warrant aren't listed. Are you looking for the details of the warrant?
Yes.
So I think it's the details of the warrant that she's
The
looking for.
spreadsheets
Yeah.
to be attached to the school committee report, or just to be available to you, to you guys?
I would attach them. I think it's a good practice to, not the payroll, but the vendor report.
Well, the payroll is always basically just by fund, it's not listed.
Because I know you have the payroll listed on here, but just the vendor part of it. I think
Okay.
that would probably streamline it.
All right, we can see what we can do.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, Communication Student Representative Report, Kaylee Habib. Kaylee?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and all other members of the school committee. Peer-to-Peer Club just wrapped up the MSPCA towel and blanket drive for animals. They had a huge success with it, and they were able to turn in several full bags. The Multicultural Club has had a great month, solidifying plans for the future. One of their members gave a presentation about Dominican music, which was enjoyed by all. The student government hosted a super successful dance for all students and held a pep rally for the whole school and community. They are working with skills to honor the veterans in our Whittier community. Poetry Club is having fun reading election poetry like Robert Frost, The Gift Outright, and Elizabeth Alexander's Praise Song for the Day, and writing personal narrative poems about gratitude and all other fall-related subjects. Chess Club is in the midst of a highly competitive first tournament. Over 25 members showed up this past week. If participation keeps up, the student interest in league play continues. There may be a tournament to compete against other schools. Interact Club works with the Merrimack Fire Chief on helping out with their third annual haunted firehouse and was very successful with over 100 visitors. They also had a small group attend the Rotary sponsored by Veterans Breakfast at the Haverhill Country Club. The Ski Club is holding a raffle with a basket that includes lift tickets to Pat's Peak and other ski goodies. Tickets are $3 each, and the winner will be drawn before Thanksgiving break. Skills USA has begun working with the Clean River Project to raise money for a boon to place in the Merrimack River. They will have several fundraisers throughout the year to support this. Skills students are also assisted with the Veterans Day breakfast at Whittier Tech. For the yearbook, senior portraits are arriving daily, and other photos are being reviewed and edited for the yearbook. These include pictures from fall sports, the pep rally, college fair, and homecoming dance. The Environmental Club is moving forward with the Whittier Tech EnviroLog project trial, collaborating with engineering, advanced manufacturing, and carpentry. They're also excited to have finished the website for uploading photos. The GSA Club is excited to continue their partnership with Dr. Paul Petit and Boston College this year. The Key Club has recently assisted with the Kiwanis Club in their turkey drop fundraiser. They're actively planning more community service projects, including filling out holiday cards for elderly housing in Newburyport and meal distribution services in Amesbury. Moving on to sports, girls soccer ended their season last week with the loss to and will compete in the state vocational tournament next week. Their final game is Wednesday night before Thanksgiving at Greater Lawrence. Cross country finished up their season on a high note at the Fort Devon State meet this past weekend. With all top runners returning, the team is excited and training hard this off-season. Girls volleyball finished their season with hard work and determination. They're excited for next year with many key players returning. Boys soccer has had a strong group of talented freshmen and sophomores. They're eager to use that experience for a more competitive season. Thank you.
Thank you, kid. Good report. Next item on the agenda is the Principal Assistant Superintendent Report. Mr. Leganis.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent, Madam Lynch, and rest of the school committee members. As you can hear, it's been very busy here at the Tech. Open house was Sunday, November 3rd, from 1 to 4. It was a tremendous success for those that attended. We were thrilled to welcome in 8th grade students and parents and families across the district. The academic displays throughout the building were engaging, hands-on presentations, and our vocational shop areas truly showcased excellence of all our programs that day. Our visitors were delighted with delicious appetizers here, and the poets and desserts crafted especially for the event by our talented culinary students and their instructors. This was, again, a fantastic opportunity to highlight our diverse academic and vocational offerings that day. Since the open house, we've received over 279 applicants for next year. I just want to thank the vocational coordinators, Amanda Crosby, Paul Muskovitz, and our maintenance crew, and the entire staff for their dedicated and diligent efforts in making that a huge success on Sunday and showcasing the beauty of this school. Middle school tours started last Tuesday, November 5th, and run through mid-December. The tours will be completed prior to winter break. Last week, we started it off with Triton on Tuesday the 5th, and on Thursday the 7th, Hillview and River Valley Charter came in and toured the school. Today, we had Ipswich, and Thursday, we have Pawtucket coming in. And if you're interested in the schedule, I have the schedule all the way to December 10th. And then on the 17th of December, that's the weather dates, just in case the schools weren't able to come in. First quarter is over. Last Friday, our report cards were issued through Power School. And so everything's moving. We had the Coffee House Talent Show. It was on Thursday the 7th at 7 p.m. in the auditorium. Spectators enjoyed many talents of all our kids. I thought you were calling me. Also, we honored our Veterans Day, as you heard. We recognized 13 staff members here that served in the branch they served in. Our student government was part of the morning announcements on that Friday. November 8th, they too recognized our veteran staff members. Those staff members' names were also displayed on the outdoor sign that you see coming in. It was really neat to hear the branches they were prison military personnel. During morning announcements last Friday, Mr. Fox explained the meaning behind the table. Mr. Fox also spoke at the breakfast that you heard. Ms. Lynch and I were there, and a few others, hosted by Whittier Tech on Saturday at 9 a.m. by the Skills USA chapter. Put it together once again with the kids and the culinary staff that just did an amazing job that morning. Once again, thanks to the culinary staff and students who prepared a delicious breakfast that morning for approximately 50 veterans and their guests. Whittier Tech also displayed flags, and on the school campus as you drive in, Mega Kitty, the big kitty that's out front, along with the driveway, you could see them all in there. So it was quite an honor for our veterans. Joanna Wood, our new school cafeteria manager, was selected in October Employee of the Month. Students and staff are pleased with the diverse, this is what the kids said, you get all the information from the kids. Students and staff are pleased with the diverse menu options, quality of food, and all heard new ideas to improve the breakfast and lunch experience, so that's great.
For the record, if anyone was wondering, I'm not related to her. That's not why she got Employee of the Month. I just want to clarify that.
So, parents will be held, the Parents' Night will be held November 21st from 5:30 to 7:30. We're in the planning with that because all this is coming up before break. Also, Whittier continues its safety commitment. We had in our first Alice drill October 30th. So far, so good. We did a shelter in place and we did an evacuation, which worked very well. We've had a few fire drills. I believe one on our own, and the fire department, Haverhill Fire Department, came in. So, again, we discussed safety protocols within with the students and ways to enhance our safety every day. We don't forget that. The Booster Club continues their efforts with our students and opened up the Snack Shack with our football game. And we also have Thanksgiving recess coming up soon from the 27th to the 29th. And just so you can pencil in, the boys varsity Thanksgiving football game is not here, it's at Greater Lawrence. If you're interested, Wednesday the 27th at 6 p.m. That's all I have. A lot of stuff going on before break.
Thank you. Any questions? Mrs. O'Connor?
What happens if any of the kids are out during those drills? Is there like somebody to just review them?
Yeah, we have, on the intranet, we have, we do have some of the PowerPoints. Also, the teachers, we have them debrief with the kids. And sometimes the kids do approach myself and the assistant principals if they do, of course, not by our choice. And it kind of was a little bit of an evacuation when we had to leave half day when we had the smoke coming in. So, we unfortunately have drills like that.
Next up, the business manager, Ms. Cosmas. FY26 budget calendar.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Madam Superintendent, members of the committee. It is that time of year again. I feel like I just finished FY25 budget and now we're on to the FY26 budget. So in your packet, you have the budget calendar. It's very similar to what we have done in prior years. This month is when we kind of meet to discuss the budget process, and we talk to the cluster chairs and the department heads about, what the expectations are. We send out the budget request information, and they have a couple of weeks to submit that back to us. In December, the due date for their completed requests are due. The administration reviews usually around the early part to the middle part of December. We go through the budgets, we make adjustments, we talk to them as needed. January 8th, we have our first executive subcommittee where we go over the initial budget. We usually don't have state numbers by that time, but it's kind of where we would like to be. And we get some direction as to what the school committee would like us to do and percent they would like us to look at. By February 12th, which is, again, before our February school committee meeting, we usually do have the state numbers by then, and so we have the second executive subcommittee meeting to review the budget. Again, at our March meeting, we are recommending that we have the annual budget workshop, which we do with the school committee and the administration. The school committee hopefully votes on the proposed budget at that time. Shortly thereafter, we advertise for the public hearing, and the public hearing is typically held at our April school committee meeting, which this year would be April 9th, 2025, and the school committee would vote on the FY26 budget. Again, these are recommended dates. They are always subject to change. Last year, we did not have the numbers till later because we had a new governor, but this year I do expect that the numbers will likely come out at the end of January, as they usually do.
All right, any questions? Mr. Lai?
Thank you. I'm new to the committee, so I apologize in advance. I have a few questions, and this is an area of passion for me as well. Just curious, is there any opportunity for the school committee to discuss and provide recommendations on budget priorities as part of this process early on? It strikes me that the full committee involvement in the budget doesn't really happen until March 12th by this calendar.
Well, there's always opportunity for school committee. Typically, the January meeting is when the school committee, the executive subcommittee meets, but that does not mean that other members of the school committee cannot attend and have attended. And so a lot of times they will look at what we have done and provide input. So yes, of course, there's always room for school committee input.
Okay. The school, could you tell me a little bit about school council and how we make sure that school council is involved in the budget process? We
bring up the budget at the school council meetings and ask if they have suggestions or whatever. The students typically, they like Mr. Laganis said, they talk about things like activities and they talk about lunch and stuff like that. But we do listen to them, and if there are things that they say that they would like to see addressed, we do try to incorporate those into the school budget.
Great. Question, and maybe this is less about the calendar. I'm a little curious about the executive subcommittee. I noticed in the school committee policy, I reviewed the ones that pertain to budget. There's several reference, I think, to finance subcommittee. I'm just curious about executive subcommittee versus finance subcommittee. I don't know who the composition of the executive subcommittee
I think in the past, it's been is it the chairman's?
meant that places that role with the finance subcommittee, which it seems we don't have a finance subcommittee, which I would be a big advocate, by the way, of a budget and finance subcommittee.
I think the executive committee has acted as basically the de facto finance subcommittee. I don't know why it was named that. That was before my time.
Sure.
Here, I don't know if anyone remembers why it was named that or any idea. Before yours.
Before mine too.
Way before my time.
But all are welcome to those meetings. They're posted, so.
So-
And others do attend the meetings.
Yep.
Yep.
So I think it has kind of operated as kind of a finance subcommittee, but for whatever reason, the name of it wasn't the finance subcommittee, it was the executive subcommittee. But since I've been here, I think that's kind of how the executive subcommittee always operated, was as the finance, just with a different name.
I understand. I think the concern that I would have is just, for all the other subcommittees, those appointments are made by the chair, whereas with the executive subcommittee, those are not, I can't ask to be part of the executive subcommittee because I'm not a chair of a committee, so I know I'll probably raise this at some point for further consideration.
You do make a good point, as the subcommittees are technically supposed to be appointed by the chairman. So, yeah, I mean, I think there's some differing policies and procedures on it.
And I guess the last question I would have is just that if on March 12th, the full committee meets to have a budget workshop, so I assume that's sort of the full presentation of the budget, I'm hoping that there might be some potential accommodation for the fact that there may be some who are not prepared to vote on the proposal, having just heard the details of it on that given meeting, so just wanna.
Gotta just address it. After each executive meeting with the business manager, we review, and usually we will slice or suggest, can you bring that down a bit, and so on. And Kara goes back to her office and works out some further details, and then that's posted. So folks on the committee know what took place at the executive committee, and in the next month or when she comes back, you can see how it has been adjusted or not, and then you can ask the questions. So there's clear transparency from, January, the beginning of January, right through April 9th or 8th or 9th, whenever we do the final vote.
Yeah. And I understand that. I think my concern would be, to some extent, that almost seems like the executive subcommittee is deliberating on the budget during the committee, and there's also a vote of the committee, I think, as well. And I guess that's just to move it forward to the full committee. But I'm happy to hear that I could go in and trace, if I wasn't able to attend the meeting, I could see how the budget changed from the time it was proposed through the various executive subcommittee meetings.
I think once we go maybe through it, you can see, and if we need to do a policy or a change, then we can certainly do that.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
Ms. Delai, one thing I think, and Ms. Cosmos on your calendar, we could probably do here, you make a good point, I understand what you're saying on March 12th, some members, if they didn't take part, it's the first they see it, they have to vote the same night. Sometime between February 12th and March 12th, you could do a meeting where you do your budget presentation at one meeting, and then the vote at the next meeting.
Well, you get the detailed budget book.
I understand that, but a presentation on the budget is different than getting the budget book if the members want a presentation on the budget. We give a presentation on March 12th on the budget to the full committee, or what we have in the past, you give a presentation and they vote on it the same night. You could just give a presentation at a meeting 2 weeks before, they can digest it and vote on it at the next meeting. I don't think that that's really a complicated ask.
Well, just to chime in, if that's okay. The budget workshop is when we go line item by line item, so I think maybe what you're asking is to have that earlier than March 12th, maybe February 28th, just throwing out a date, and then actually vote on it on March 12th. So more of the workshop
Yeah.
earlier,
earlier
where people
workshop
have the chance to kind of go through it, and then the actual vote
on the dip.
on March 12th. Does
Because
that-
then it'll be an amended budget, theoretically, if the school committee amends it from what what you and the executive committee send them, they amend it, go back, put it together how they've amended it, and then bring that back for a final vote. I think that accomplishes what everyone was looking for and keeps Ms. Delai's concerns about the process and not seeing it. Ms. Drew?
I just had a question, so what I recall last year was we voted, to present the budget to the public, and then the final vote took place after, it says it here too, public hearing, there was a public hearing at that meeting.
Mhm.
Am I understanding that correctly? Is that how am I recalling that correctly, that we voted
So you need to
present
vote
it to-
before,
Yeah, we had two votes. We had one, I believe, to present the budget for public
Correct.
scrutiny or hearing, and, like it's presenting it as the final budget, but then we didn't vote it in as our budget until after the public hearing.
yes, that's
Is that
correct, because
correct?
that's the way you have to do it by law.
Okay,
It has to be a public hearing.
I just wanted to say that to clarify in my mind, but also to clarify for anyone else who wasn't sure about the process as well. Okay, thank you.
So I think just adding one budget workshop,
So budget workshop on February 26th. We can amend that, so 2 weeks later, and then we'd be ready for the March 12th to vote on a final budget.
I think that'd be really helpful. Okay, sorry, thank you. You suggesting February 26th?
Yes.
okay, so does somebody want to offer an amendment to the budget calendar that there be a budget workshop on February? Well, actually, if somebody could make a motion to put the budget calendar on the floor first. So if someone could make a motion to approve the budget calendar first.
Move to approve the budget calendar for FY '26.
Seconded by Ms. So, and then make a motion to amend, the budget workshop calendar to reflect a February 26th, budget workshop.
Motion to amend the proposed budget calendar to add a date of February 26th for budget workshop for the school committee.
Motion by Ms. Delai, seconded.
What's the time?
I think we'd probably stick with the normal time of 6:30. Motion made and seconded. Any,
Don't we always do the workshop before our regular meeting?
this is gonna be separate, though. This is gonna be an extra budget workshop.
That's right, I'm sorry.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy? Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slabowski?
Yes.
Okay, that's on the amendment to the calendar. Now, is there a motion to
Full
approve? Mr. Irvin, motion,
Second.
Murphy. As amended. Any discussion on the
Full calendar, sorry, is that what you said? I couldn't
the
hear
full
you.
budget calendar? Yes.
Thank you.
As amended. Seeing none? Call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slabowski?
Yes.
Thank you. Passes. Does everyone feel good about the budget process now? No concerns? We're good? Open, transparent? Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cosmas. Next item on the agenda is the Coordinator of Curriculum and Staff Development, Dr. Fay.
Good evening, Chairman Wood, Superintendent Lynch, members of the committee. I am Dr. Kelly Fay, the Coordinator of Curriculum and Staff Development, and I am here to present you with my annual academic update. I first wanted to begin by giving you academic program highlights. Within the English department here at Whittier, we are continuing to focus on choice reading and giving students the opportunity to find a love of reading of books that they choose and are not forced to read. Additionally, we implemented our new Read 180 program. We transitioned from Lexia, which was our program that we utilized for support for students who are identified as needing additional reading instruction, and we've implemented Read 180. Read 180 provides systemic and explicit instruction based on not only the student's needs, but also the science of reading. It is geared towards the high school level as well, and students are provided individualized instruction based on their own needs. Within the math department, we're continuing to focus on our alignment with Skills USA and employability skills. The math teachers are doing this by ensuring that their curriculum is aligned to the industry needs and expectations of the workforce. They're integrating mathematical practices and problems that are based on the various trade areas, as well as Skills USA. Within the science department, we have continued to focus on phenomenon-based learning and critical thinking, where they're connecting, again, science with the workplace. They're utilizing the storyline format of phenomenon-based teaching, where they're given a story of what's happening somewhere in the world or within their science area, and then they're examining the phenomenon around that. Within our history department, we're continuing to focus on civic engagement and citizenship, and we are aligning again this year to Skills USA, the American Spirit activities. American Spirit activities focus on civic engagement, patriotism, community service, and as principals around the Wildcat, as well as the Veterans Day breakfast. So the history department is working hand in hand with the Skills USA advisors to integrate that into our history classes. As for our early college program, we are currently in our 3rd year of official designation from the state of Massachusetts, and we are offering the courses again still to juniors and seniors. The addition of the program for this school year is that our students are now getting bused over to the campus. Previously, they were taking the classes here and either remotely or periodically, depending on the professor's schedule, they would come in and have the class here. Now the students are actually provided a real college experience. They hop on a bus. We have a early college facilitator that also heads over there with them, and she's there to support them. They attend classes. They also have the opportunity to go to the library, computer center. They're really learning how to be a college student. And as Associate Principal Jensen said earlier at the school council this week, the students are in the program are really enjoying the experience and really feeling like they are a college student and having those opportunities. So that's very exciting. Fortunately, unfortunately, I guess really unfortunately, we are in our final year of our DESE STEM AP grants. These are the courses that we've been able to offer our students through this grant. It was funded out of the U.S. Department of Education along with Virtual High School. So the grant was intended to reduce barriers for students to AP courses, particularly in the STEM fields. What was great about this program is that the students were all offered everything free of charge. So the courses, the lab kits, even the AP exam. So they really had the opportunity to take part in it. And here we had a support teacher that was available to help them throughout the program. Because the program is ending, we are in the process of examining how to move forward and what do we do and what is best for our students and the needs of Whittier Tech. This year we integrated new electives. Most are half year, with one being a full year. Mastering soft skills for the workplace is really doing those 21st century skills that we all really need: communication, teamwork, problem solving. It's really teaching the students professionalism and how to function in the workplace. Media arts and visual storytelling is giving students the opportunity to really look at photography and editing and the power of visual communications. Students are able to watch videos with no wording and really figure out, okay, what did the director, the author mean? And then they're also able to create their own. Digital and social media journalism and public relations is really going to delve deep into journalism, podcasts, PR, social media, and really all media communications. As we all know, our students are digital natives, but this is really teaching them how to work with the technology that they have in their hands and how to make it work for them in the best way that makes sense. We are offering economics as our next half-year elective, and this really builds on the frameworks from the U.S. and the world history, and really we're looking at economic stability and globalization and what that has to do for our economy. So really teaching the students how the economics play into that of our world. The next class is an exciting investing in the stock market. Really, they're learning about investment strategies, critical thinking, how to make smart financial decisions, something I know that I always need. So it's certainly a class that the students can carry with them as they move throughout their adulthood. Financial management and literacy is not new to us, but previously we offered it as a half-year elective, and now we're offering it as a full-year elective. Over the last few years, we've been a recipient of the Credit for Life Financial Innovation Grants, and we really have learned that our students really need those personal finance and money management skills. So during this class, they're really looking at saving and investing, budgeting, banking, even credit lines, insurance, again, all the things that we need to be successful. So it's been a great addition to our courses here. For professional development for our staff, last year we were the recipient of a social emotional learning and behavioral grant through the state. And we really delved deep into the multi-tiered system of support that we have been offering, particularly since COVID. And really, through that team's work of really analyzing what we're doing, what we need to do, and what we could be doing better, we really wanted to take our focus on a multi-tiered system of support and really helping our teachers and all staff know and understand what the various tiers are and how that can help our students. So Tier 1 in general is a universal support. We give that to every student regardless. Everybody gets it. A Tier 2 is an addition to that universal support. It's not in a replacement of, so they're still receiving that universal support, but maybe we've identified that they needed additional assistance. And then Tier 3 is really intensive support. What was really good is that the director of guidance and myself presented to the staff on the first day of school, and we used an analogy that we found from the research that team conducted. And really it was taking a look at your car. You're always getting gas. You always have to make sure there's air in the tires, and you get your oil changes. That's your universal Tier 1 support, right? Everybody does that to keep their car going. But maybe while you're driving down the road, you run over a nail and you need to go get a patch, right? That's not a universal support. Not everybody's going to get that patch, but we've identified that you needed that. So you take it into the shop and they patch it for you, but you're still going to get gas while you're driving around with that patch. You're still going to get your oil changes. You just have this little extra thing helping you to move along. But then one day you're driving down the road and that patch just blows out and you need to go and get a whole new tire, and really the way cars are made today, you probably need 4 new tires. That is your Tier 3 support, your intensive support. Not everybody's going to need that, and not everybody who needs to get a patch will need to replace all 4 tires. But that's how it is. And you're still getting gas, you're still keeping air in your tires. So that's really how we kind of made that analogy, and it was really helpful for everybody to kind of baseline understand it. We then brought a presenter in for our first half day who really went through what Tier 1 support was in Universal Design for Learning. And so it was a really great opportunity to have a presenter, and then our teachers broke out into departments to really talk about supports that they provide to their students on a daily basis. And that is all that I have for you today.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Mr. Early.
Yes, some of these grants are expiring. Have you reapplied for them?
Yes. So it depends on the grant. If it's available, then yes. So that, that social emotional behavioral grant, it was a competitive grant, but we did submit an application and we're just waiting to hear.
Good luck, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Urban.
Dr. Fay, on the advanced placement, you have all hard sciences. Any consideration to American history, world history, psychology, sociology, art?
So this grant was a STEM AP grant put out by the state.
Thank you.
So that's why.
Obvious.
Any further discussion?
Mary was first, but then I will.
Still on?
About how many students do you have participating in the early college program, and like, what's the, and what is that, about as in percentage terms approximately?
All right, so we have a currently, if I did my math correct, Ms. Jensen is the guru of scheduling, but I have 158 students are currently enrolled, 100 in Comp 101 and 58 in Comp 102.
Nice, excellent.
And those are basic classes that are, they're mass transfer block classes, so they're transferable to any community college. And even if a vocational teacher or vocational student decides that they want to be a teacher, in 10 years from now, those are required classes to become a teacher. So they're a vocational teacher, so we will be providing them with that as well.
Yep. And I guess this is more of a comment. This would make me wildly popular, I'm sure, with students, but any consideration to making financial management and literacy required? I hear that as the biggest issue students leaving high school wish that they had gotten that content.
So it's certainly something that we have been talking about. Katie and I actually received an email just about that today as well. We have, for the last, I'd say 4 years, participated in a Credit for Life program where it used to be seniors, now we do juniors before they go out on co-op, and they get to experience or we try to simulate for them what it would be to kind of function in the real world. So they're given a job, they're given a credit score, they do pre-work in their math classes, and then we are hoping to do additional work afterwards in their math classes. But our gymnasium is filled with credit counselors and a gym membership. There's a car dealership. Do you buy the new car? Do you buy the used car? Do you work out at home, or do you go to Lifetime Fitness? That's hundreds of dollars, you know, and the students really learn budgeting skills. And then we do have the electives as well within our schedule.
Thank you.
I know you said 158 in the early college program. I have a couple questions. One, for the teacher supporting that program, what percentage of the FTE is taken up by doing that, and then versus the other courses that they teach? And then how many students are in the early AP course, have taken the AP coursework, and is there are there teachers assigned? I know it's virtual, it's through the virtual high school, but do teachers also support that program?
So this year we have a brand new position, an early college facilitator. So they're actually an early college and articulation agreement facilitator. So that's their full position. It's no longer a teaching position within the class. So they don't necessarily teach courses. Their job is working in the early college program, doing all the scheduling. They are the person. So that's their actual job. And now that role has also taken on articulation agreements, so they're kind of going hand in hand. So there's not an additional coursework other than she submits the grades from the college professor. So it's not like we used to have it before, where they were in the class. They are totally separate from the class.
So, but are they still considered a teacher contractually? They're still on the
I
pay
believe
scale?
so. Yes, they're still
It's
on
not
the
a separate
yes,
position?
yes.
And
then as your question for the advanced placement, so currently we have 24 students taking part in this advanced placement program. 12 are taking computer science, 3 are taking environmental, 1 is taking physics, 6 are taking statistics, and 2 are taking biology. Because it's a virtual program, we have a advanced placement STEM coordinator, position person. So she is there to support them, and they go to her room, but they're being taught by virtual high school.
Any other questions? I was happy to see the financial management on there. I've always believed that that should be a requirement for high school students. I've always thought that in my time on the school committees, they graduate, they can solve a complex algebraic equation, but they can't balance their checkbook. And they don't have basic skills for that. And I don't think, and this isn't us at Whittier Votech or really anyone, but I don't think as a Commonwealth that we've done a good job of adapting our curriculum to real world what they need. And I think that's financial literacy and management is a fundamental building block for the rest of their lives. So I'm happy to see it here. Hopefully, maybe we'll see the day. Next item on the agenda is going to be the Director of Technology and Information Service presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, and the rest of the school committee. Thank you so much for having me tonight to share a few updates for our tech department here at Whittier Tech. In the last couple of months, we have been working on a few projects, and I would like to share a few of them with you tonight. First, I would like to do a quick overview and refresher for all of you. As you guys know, we are a one-to-one school district here at Whittier. We support over 700 applications and systems that go from student level all the way to staff, and our tech department, right, the platform that we use. We have around 2,300 devices around here that are under management. That include Apple devices like iPad OS, Mac OS, all the way to Chromebooks, all the way to Windows devices for shops. In our tech department, we have 5 full-time employees, including me, the network manager. We have a help desk. We have the library media specialist, Rich, that you guys may know, is in the back. And we have a technology integration specialist. This year, with us, we have 2 students in COP that are working with us every other week. They are helping us with the daily help desk tickets, and they have been amazing. Going back to the iPad part, all graders here or student have iPad assigned to them. That means that every student that are enrolled in Whittier Tech is going to have a brand new iPad. This will include a smart case like the one that you guys have in front of you, that include a display protection, also a keyboard. We are happy to announce that this year we finally include to all the students Logitech pencils. That way they can take note in their iPad as well. And we're including an Apple Care program insurance as well. This means that the 4th year the student is here with us in Whittier Tech, their iPad will be fully insured. That means accidental drops, that means accidental damage, or anything that is not working properly on that device. As Katie, Dr. Faye talked, Chromebook for early college, every student that is in the early college program, have a Chromebook assigned to them. They keep that Chromebook with them, and then at the end of the year, we pull that Chromebook back to us. Then we do some maintenance on the Chromebook, and then we return it as, in the next fiscal year as well. All the devices here at Whittier Tech are locked and is under management under our mobile device management platform is Muscle. That means that everything that the student does on that iPad, we manage them. From the web browser, from application they use, everything we can control, we can see what they're doing, and that keeps us all safe and keep our data and the students safe as well. Regarding the teachers, we have iPad Air and Apple Pencil for all the teachers and staff in the building, as well for MacBook Air and Apple TV in the classroom that they can use to screen share, that way they can do the lesson in the classroom as well. Talking a little bit about project, now we're going to talk about a little bit about deployments. In the last couple of months, we have been deploying a few computer devices to the classroom. In this case, School USA, we deployed a few Dell laptops. It was around 12 of them. Those laptops were used in the competition they had last summer. The same for electronic and robotics. To give you an idea, this laptop put that department in the state-of-the-art technology. Before they have desktop monitors, now they have mobile devices that they can work around their classroom. They can be mobile with them. Also have all the platform is fully loaded with the application they actually need. The same for Marine Tech, Auto Body, and Auto Tech. Talking about now our Palo Alto. Palo Alto is our firewalls. We have 2 of them. This year we work in creating new policies and reconfigure the whole Palo Alto firewalls. This means now that we have 2 of them. If one of them fell, we have a redundancy, the other one kick in, so we are always fully covered. That means that our data in place here is safe, our data for the student is safe, not only the information that comes from outside the building, also the information that goes out as well. We also include a VPN network. This is a virtual private network that we create. We don't have anyone in the past, so this means, to give you an idea, I work like an hour away from the building. If something happened, now people can actually call me and I can actually troubleshoot from home anything inside the building. Power School, last summer, a group of the staff here in Whittier, we went to Power School University. Over there we learned what we can do better or what we can improve in our system. And that's what we have been doing. That's why I had it here. It has been a big component since I started working here at Whittier a year ago. I'm happy to know that it's working perfectly. It's working like better than ever. And again, it's where our student information is our top priority as of right now, every day. SFAX, we move all the nurses fast from the copper line. Now everything's in the cloud. They was like taking that apart from them, so they don't want to lose that. So we found this platform, we implemented, we deployed it, and as well like all these other ones, we do the maintenance of them if something happened. They're happy now. They use iCloud fax. It kind of works as an email. People call the phone number for the fax machine, but it's still going on an actual machine. It's just going to the inbox, and then they can see it, they can share it, and again, it made the purpose of keep that document safe and secure. That's the purpose of the fax machines. Now, talking a little bit about the infrastructure improvement, about the network. This year, we are going to introduce Aruba ClearPass. Is the way that we connect devices that don't belong to Whittier Tech. To give you an example, as of right now, if you want to connect to our network, you have to connect to the guest SSID. If you want to connect to that, you need a password for us or for someone else that will know that password. That means that it will take time for you to connect. It will take time for you to find the password. And the actual issue is we cannot manage that computer or that device that is connected to that guest network. Now, as we implement Aruba ClearPass, now we're taking all that off. You don't need us anymore. You can connect, you sign in the network, but the most important part of it, now we can see your traffic. Now we can see what you're doing, where you are, when, and where you were. So that gives you a big picture of like keep our students safe, our data safe, our infrastructure safe, and our service safe as well. This means that in order to do that, we standardize protocols and we do a lot of automatization in the system. To give you another example, as of right now, half an hour before, we have our server doing backup daily. That before is something that we had actually go and trigger that backup to happen. Now they're just happening meanwhile we are talking about it. And that is one of the part that we love to do this part of the stuff and why we standardize everything here at Whittier so we can keep it up to date. Again, I talk about remote connection. Other thing that we did last summer, we did Aruba core switch. We changed all our network infrastructure from the core switch, from access point, as you can see that all of them around. We touched all of them, we swapped them. To give you an idea as well, all of those internets, it was like running in a device like 20, 30 gigabytes speed network. Now we're talking about 100 to 200 speed data-wise. Because of this, we can see again all that network traffic. We can monitor it. We can know if something is happening or is about to happen. Saying this, all the systems in the building are backed up by UPS, uninterrupted power supply, and it's backed up too by our power generator here as well. Then we have two physical pipe coming to the building as a fiber. This means that, again, we have two Palo Altos. One fell over, right? The other one kick in. The same with the network data. We are a internet service provider. If one of them fell, the other one kick in. We never go down. That means that our most priority information is always up. Email and communication, right? Phones. We can always communicate to the outside world. Just to give you the latest recent updates, again, I don't know if you guys noticed, we have a new website. This website, we work with our partner vendors out there. They help us to implement it, to deployment. Now is our part. We are doing now the maintenance. I'm happy to announce that coming soon, we're going to roll over an application as well. So that means that everything that you see in that website, you can have it now in an application at your fingertips. You just go to the App Store or your Chrome Store, whatever you prefer. You download our app, and through that app, again, you will see all the same notification, all the same information, all the same data that you see in the website, but now in an application. Usually people is more easier than still going to like whittiertech.org, just, oh, I have the application, I click on it, boom, I have everything at my fingertip. Now going to curriculum, as Dr. Fay mentioned, we helped to implement NWA for the English department, commonly for the reading part of the building, and a puzzle to make interactive video with the students. As well for Class VR, this is a new addition that we're adding to the school. It's amazing. It's pretty much, the student now is gonna use headset. They're gonna put it on. Now they're gonna be in a virtual reality environment where if the teacher decides to go to China to see the Great Wall, now the students are going to the Great Wall. And believe me, it feels amazing. I'm even gonna take the liberty to say, like, if you guys wanna try it, you guys are welcome, and we can try with you guys, and it's gonna be a show. Now, to end professional development, and this me and the part of the team, as well as the people in the building, we have been participating, as I said, in Power School University, Apple deployment success. I want to give you a quick story about this. In the past year, every time that we deploy our iPad to the freshman class, we're talking about 320 iPads around. It took around 3 or 4 weeks of work. Like, that means like getting the iPad in the building, sit down with the iPad, configure each iPad. It took a while. After we took this professional development with the Apple deployment, it only took 3 days this year. It was amazing. Again, we have been participating in MITA, in Massachusetts Education Technology Administrators. I have been part of Massachusetts Cyber Security Center Summit, as well as MassQ. The last one, it was the Day of AI. That Superintendent Lynch let us win and participate of that with our other instructor here, administration in the building. And it was amazing. We learned about AI and how we can implement this to our student in a safe way and still like just denying it. And that's it. If you have any question, I would like then to finish saying thank you to my staff, our network, and Justin, Joseph, Tech, Richard, Perselis in the back, and Kathleen Nicole, Introduction Technology. Thank you so much. If you have any question, I'm happy
Anyone
to
have any
answer. If
questions?
not, good night. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Just curious, do we monitor internet searches for like risky or inappropriate searches?
Yeah, so as of right now, every iPad through the firewall as well to the mobile management that I mentioned also, we have policy implemented, like where a student does some type of search. As an example, let's say they want to search about guns. The firewall automatically will kick in and it will block that website. They don't even reach it.
Okay.
As soon as they see the keyword, it will block them. The same for any other things that are not supposed to be seen or not, no compliance for them.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Very good.
Next item on the agenda, reports and recommendation of the superintendent. Madam Superintendent.
I would like to ask Sean Regan to come up to is it the podium we call it? Sean has just been hired as our liaison with Northern Essex and Whittier Tech, and he's already out and working, and if you just want to fill everybody in a little bit about what you've been doing, that would be great.
All right, Sean Regan, 82 Keeley Street, Haverhill. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Superintendent Lynch, committee members. It's great to be here tonight and have the opportunity to address the full committee. I started about 2 weeks ago, and mainly I see my role right now is providing timely and up-to-date information to the district communities, school committee members, and local officials, while doing anything I can to support Superintendent Lynch and Northern Essex Community College President Lane Glenn in moving the project forward. We have a new PowerPoint to update the communities on what's happening at this high school and the new shared campus proposal. It includes community-specific highlights and information about our students and programs, in addition to updates on the project. We also have new promotional brochures, which are excellent, and that we debuted at the recent parent-student open house here at the high school 2 weeks ago. Most recently, school committee member Carol Sullivan and I attended last week's Ipswich Select Board meeting to give a presentation and a project update. I'm available to work with any school committee members to give a presentation in their communities. I also met individually with a couple of you. Carol Sullivan has mentioned, Mary DeLye, Dick Early Jr. I'm interested in meeting with any and all of you here at the school or in your towns to talk about the challenges and opportunities of the new project, as well as listen to any ideas you have about how I can assist any of you, and any ideas you have about how to move the project forward in your individual communities. Quick update on the project. What's happening right now is the Memorandum of Understanding. That's a document that Northern Essex Community College President Lane Glenn and Superintendent Lynch have developed, which is basically an agreement that all the towns are going to work together to move the project forward. Doesn't commit anyone to anything, but just lets the School Building Assistance Authority know that we're all going to work together, to try to solve our problems, answer our questions, move the project forward. And we've secured commitments or signatures from most of the towns for the MOU, and we hope to submit that again to the School Building Authority soon, hopefully this week or next week. The UMass Donahue Institute is doing a study of the proposal for us. They recently completed their interim report, and they will have a final report in, I think, a couple of months, at which time it'll be a public document and it'll be available to everyone. For right now, it's still a work in progress. Donahue Institute is also conducting public listening sessions, which people signed up on the Whittier website, public officials, residents, anyone who wanted to, give their input, give their thoughts on the project. And I believe tonight was the last listening session, and we hope to have those results and findings for everybody, for the public soon. This is all sort of looking ahead to the Massachusetts School Building Authority meeting in second week of December, where we're hoping to be letting into the planning and funding pipeline. And a lot of what will come next will depend on what happens at that meeting. So I hope I didn't go too fast, and happy to answer any questions if I can.
Any questions? Mr. Murphy?
Will we be getting that report before December 11th?
The Donahue,
Yes.
well, that would, I believe, be up to the superintendent, who's.
No, I don't think they're planning on having the completed report until the end of December, beginning of January. We did let MSBA know that.
Ms. Sullivan?
Sean did. I just want to tell you, Sean's great. At a moment's notice, the day before I found out the MOA was going to the select board in Ipswich, I spoke to Maureen. Maureen got to him. He was there at the meeting with me that Monday night, going over and answering any questions. And then the next week, I had already been scheduled to talk about Whittier, and Sean came along to that, helped with the presentation. Maureen had helped with the presentation, and we really looked very organized and very on top of things. So he's a really good asset to reach out to and help us bring the towns up to snuff.
Mr. Early?
How many towns have you talked to or been to?
Ipswich was the only one that I went to a meeting twice. Yeah, I believe Mr. Zalowski is going to be giving a presentation. Did I say your name right? I'm sorry.
Close enough.
Okay. to Georgetown School Committee this week, so I'm going to at least be on that on the Zoom meeting. But like I said, I'm looking forward to getting to know and visiting all the towns and cities and towns. And I'm happy to. I imagine eventually I'll probably address all the selectmen meetings, and looking forward to that. But so far I've just been formally.
You said you're gonna do a Zoom with them. You're not gonna go there one-on-one.
Well, I believe it's just a Zoom meeting.
That's it.
It's a Zoom meeting this month. Yep.
Nothing better than being in front of them.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. No, I agree.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you. I think you'll be a good addition to the team. I've worked with Sean for a while. He, back in the day, he was a reporter. We could never sneak anything by him back in the day. He used to chase us around. So, I think I think he'll be a great addition to the staff here. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Madam Superintendent, back to you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. On Thursday, October 10th, I attended the MASS executive meeting in Marlborough. We discussed the pipeline of future educators and what the barriers to entering the education workforce might be, and discussed possible solutions to that. On Thursday, October 10th, I attended the Haverhill School Committee along with Scott Wood, Dick Early, Kara Cosmas, and Amanda Crosby. We were able to give a brief update on the happenings at Whittier Tech. On Wednesday, October 16th, I met with Mayor Goff from Amesbury. On Wednesday, October 16th, I attended the Mayor's Task Force remote meeting in Haverhill. On Friday, October 18th, I attended the CTE course review at Fitchburg State. We were able to discuss the 6 courses that are required of CTE instructors and what should be included in the syllabi for each one of those courses. On Tuesday, October 22nd, I attended the Skills Capital announcement at Upper Cape along with Amanda Crosby, and I'm happy to report that we received $1 million grant for metal fabrication and joining. It was a great day. On Wednesday, October 23rd, I again attended the Mayor's Task Force meeting. On Wednesday, October 23rd, I attended the Drug Story Theater at Haverhill High School along with Amanda Crosby. On Friday, October 25th, I attended the North Shore Superintendent's Roundtable meeting. At that meeting, we talked about problem of practice. On Tuesday, October 29th, I was able to introduce the second public listening session for the UMass Donahue Institute. On Wednesday, October 30th, I attended the Merrimack Valleys Association meeting at Longwood Golf Club in Lowell. Attorney Gonzalez gave a legal update. On Friday, November 1st, I met with Lane Glenn to discuss the opportunities of Whittier Tech and Northern Essex working together. On Friday, November 1st, Mr. Leganis and I met with the Haverhill Police Chief and Fire Chief to discuss school safety. This is a required school meeting. On Monday, November 4th, I attended the Northern Essex Planning Grant meeting along with Kara Cosmas and Sean Regan. We've received some of the preliminary work of that study, and again, that we should have a completed study by mid-January. On Tuesday, November 5th, I attended the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce Executive Committee meeting in Lawrence. On Wednesday, November 6th through November 8th, I attended the MASC-MASS conference in Hyannis, along with Dave Irving, Mary DeLay, and Carol Sullivan. This was a wonderful conference, and we had the opportunities of both superintendents and school committees to learn together. And it was one of the better conferences I've been to in a very long time, so thank you. And today, I introduced the third public listening session for the UMass Donahue Institute. I also want to throw a huge shout out to the Skills USA breakfast that we had on Saturday for our veterans. It was our first time doing it, but I have to say it really was wonderful. These teachers volunteered their Saturday morning of a long weekend to provide a breakfast. So I really want to thank Nick Kedian, Nicole Graposa, Christina Perrin, Chitza Baranga, Terry Bragg, Jane and Paul Moskovich, Bruce Boisel, the students and all the staff. I hope I didn't leave out anyone, because really I'm so appreciative that they took the time to honor our veterans on Saturday, and I see this as something that's going to continue to grow. It just really was an amazing event, and I really can't thank the staff enough for their volunteerism to provide the event. So that is all I have for you.
How many veterans showed up?
We had about 40 to 50.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You
I
have,
just had a quick question.
Good thing.
go
I
ahead.
just had a question. Do you know what town, were they all from our district towns, like, or?
You know what, I don't know
I was
which
just-
came from which town.
Okay, how did they find out about it? I was just curious.
Invitations were sent, word of mouth, our teachers.
Okay.
But I think that's where I see opportunity for growth.
Uh-huh.
Is working with our veterans associations and
Absolutely.
having it grow to be even a bigger event. We talked about, what we can also give as a commemorative to thank them for their service. So there's, you grow, right? You
Yeah.
start one place and then you grow and it becomes even a better and bigger event. So, but I just really, the staff volunteering their time on a Saturday of a long weekend, I'm just so appreciative.
It's a great start.
Madam Superintendent, I think you have 3 field trip
I do.
requests.
So I
Take them as a
have,
group.
field trips for the American Institute of Hair Color in Londonderry, New Hampshire, because it is an out-of-state field trip. I do need permission from the school committee. So I have that going out on 11/19 and 11/26.
Move to approve.
Hold on 1 second before someone seconds it. Why don't we just take them all as one? Put them all together instead of doing 3 separate motions.
Okay, and then I have the Eastern Propane in Rochester, New Hampshire. They are going out 22 students on week 1 and 28 students on week 2. And then I also have the Salem, New Hampshire Wrestling Tournament, and that is on 12/14/2024.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Irvin to approve all 3 field trip requests. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Murphy and a bunch of other people. Mr. Early.
Do we have the proper paperwork?
We will before they attend.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
Passes. Next item, old business, no old business. New business, Mr. Lai, consideration to revise policy BEDB.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I am assuming that this would get referred to the policy subcommittee. However, what I would like us to consider is adding language to policy BEDB, that in addition to having agendas posted and made available to the press, that we actually expand that language to say that agendas and the supporting materials will be posted and made available to the public and the press prior to the school committee meeting. I think now that we have revised policy BEDBE and are no longer including any personnel information, I think this was the primary concern that was maybe dissuading us from doing that. But I'm hoping that committee members will concur that posting the packets will be viewed as a way to improve transparency and communication with the public.
I think that's a simple amendment. I wouldn't say that probably, I would say that you could move to amend this policy. I don't think that
Okay.
has to be sent to policy subcommittee.
Okay.
We're not developing a new policy or comprehensive change.
Yeah.
It's really adding a sentence to the policy, so I really don't see any logical reason that we'd have to send it there, wait for a meeting, have them come back with a recommendation to a future meeting just for a sentence. I think you could amend it.
Yeah, I'm happy to offer a motion to amend policy BEDB, change that last sentence to read agendas and supporting materials will be posted and made available to the public and the press in advance of the school committee meetings.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Irvin. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy? Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
Passes. Next item, thank you, Mr. Lai. Next item on the agenda, reports of special.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Can I make a report on the new business?
Yep.
3 or 4 of us, including the superintendent, went to the Cape this past week for the 79th annual meeting of MASC-MASS joint meeting. And it was very, very interesting. A lot of the various workshops had Title IX, what else we have? We had a ton of things on decency, on dignity, on treating each other well, on, again, 766, Title IX. A lot of different workshops. It was well worth attending. We did have a couple of speakers. It followed the election, so one of the breakouts or one of the general sessions was John Keller from the whole time. And another interesting speaker is Tim Shriver, who is one of the Kennedys, showed up, and believe me, his mannerisms, his looks, he was definitely a Kennedy. But he spoke on dignity. He works and CEO of several humanity groups or interest groups that are working with the public. And he also worked with Special Olympics with his mother and aunt. And so he was very well received, a good speaker, excellent speaker. And he also spoke on this idea of respect and dignity among all people, and to listen to various views and so on. So it was well worth it. It was a very positive conference, I believe. Superintendent may want to add some, and Mary or Carol, some of the conference breakouts you went to.
Yeah. It was, I did the charting the course also, that everybody on a school committee is supposed to do. And it was just an eye-opener of all of the things that we're involved in. How important we are. I was like, wow, I didn't know all these things. It was really fabulous, and it was very positive. And just talking to other people from other schools.
9 was very helpful, and also a presentation about artificial intelligence and where we're going with AI and whether or not we need policies or statements and what the role of the administration is. So I'm sure there'll be more discussion about that, but they offered up some really good things to consider, and some other districts that have tackled this issue through policy or statements that might be helpful as well.
One other thing, we had 10 resolutions presented, and they, as school committee would have one to do, that every one was amended, so we have amendment upon amendments, and so the final result hasn't come out yet. But what I would mention, the actual vocational and technical school group proposed to the school building authority a three-tiered presentation for money. An elementary school would be one tier, high school, a comprehensive high school was second, and vocational schools, stating that vocational schools needed a lot more money for their plant. So basically, and most of these are all approved. I did sense there's a little disconnect between the western Berkshire counties and the central and eastern part of the state. But all in all, it was very, very enlightening, and I think it's well worth anybody's attempt to go down. We missed you, Joanne.
Next year, I swear, except I'm staying at Margaritaville.
Anyway, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Irvin. Reports of the special committees, executive has not met. Instructional personnel, Ms. True.
We met 2 months ago, and I'm assuming we just had the presentation by Kelly, so maybe in the spring, something like that? Okay.
All right. Plant operations, Mr. Murphy.
There are no minutes to vote on. However, we did have a meeting tonight, and we discussed the condition of the surface treatment plant, and we need to move forward on fixing it, replacing it. We're looking to suspend the rules to vote on the school moving forward to request for an RFP for an OPM. Ms. Lynch can give some more details on that.
All right, so a motion to suspend the rules by Mr. Murphy to discuss possible OPM for the, was it the wastewater treatment plant? Motion by, seconded by Mr. Savosky to suspend the rules. Please, all in favor of, actually, you know what? No. Roll call on that.
Mr. Early,
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan,
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger,
Yes.
Ms. Delai.
Yes.
Mr. Irving,
Aye.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Ms. Lowell. Mr. O'Connor,
Yes.
Ms. True.
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor.
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski.
Yes.
Rules are suspended. Mr. Murphy, or Madam Superintendent?
So, as we all know, our wastewater treatment plant is working towards the end of its useful life. We are still waiting to hear about from MSBA. We should hear from them on December 11th. But we really need to move forward with taking care of that wastewater treatment plant, because if we're here for 5 years or 10 years, we're gonna need to be able to keep the building open, and this is one of the ways to keep the building open. So what we're looking to do is hire an OPM, who will then hire a designer, and then we'll have a better sense of what we're looking at moving forward. But this is just step one of a very long process. And I know our cities and towns are really anxious and want to hear what's going on, and this is really our first step in moving forward with that.
Any questions?
Now, this plant is 50 years old, and at any day we could have a catastrophic failure down here, and if we do, we get shut down. It's serious.
Any questions?
More than 50 years old.
Yeah.
All right, is there a motion on the, a motion relative to this?
Motion to move forward with the.
Authorize the
RFP.
superintendent to issue the RFP for
Yes.
OPM. Motion by Mr. Murphy, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Savosky. Any questions on the motion? The only thing I would ask is there any downside to doing this before we know if the MSBA is gonna allow us into the process? Like, if they see this, would it throw any red flags, curves by getting ahead of them from the end of the year?
I don't think so, because, again, if we're open for 3 years or 5 years, we need to do something. So this would be an OPM that would be able to at least start the design and be able to tell us exactly what we need to do. There's so many unknowns that if we do end up going over to Northern Essex Community College, this facility will still be here. If someone was to buy the facility, they would have that wastewater treatment plant, so it would still be a value added, we wouldn't be losing. But you know, we will find out in we'll find out December 11th about our MSBA chances. You know, this is step one. If we have to go sideways with MSBA, then we still have the opportunity to do that. I just don't want to waste any more time moving forward with this.
Okay. Any other questions?
What is the financial commitment in this step? I know, we'll find out what it will really cost to replace the budget.
Right. So when you do your request, that's what we would find out about how much it would cost to have an OPM.
It's issuing an RFP for the OPM, so we
okay.
wouldn't know the answer to that till we get the responses.
Right, okay.
Any other questions? Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
Passes. Is that it, Mr. Murphy?
Yes, that's it, thank you.
Thank you. Next item, salary and negotiations, Mr. Early.
We are going to have a meeting soon, but I would say after the first of the year would be the next meeting. I don't think we need one before it.
We did get a request from the union for negotiations, and
bring
they
that
are
up.
requesting definitely to meet before that, I think I
Okay.
saw, so. I would get maybe in touch with the superintendent on working on scheduling with the salary and
And just
negotiations.
call us and, we'll,
Yeah, let me,
Schedule a meeting.
I'll try to get a couple of dates and we can move
problem.
forward with a couple of dates between now and the December 11th meeting.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Early. Mr. Irvin.
Mr. Chairman, in your packet tonight, we have policies for a second and final reading. For AC, non-discriminatory policy, including harassment and retaliation, AC-R, non-discrimination policy, including harassment and retaliation, ACA, discrimination on the basis of sex, ACAR, non-discrimination on the basis of sex under Title IX, including sex-based harassment, ACAB, sexual and sex-based harassment and retaliation, ACGA, civil rights grievance procedure, and ACGB, Title IX, sexual discrimination grievance procedure. I move that for second and final reading.
Motion by Mr. Irvin, seconded by
Second.
Ms. Coppinger. Any discussion? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Early?
Yes.
Ms. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Coppinger?
Yes.
Ms. Delai?
Yes.
Mr. Irving?
Aye.
Mr. Murphy?
Yes.
Ms. Lowell?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Ms. True?
Yes.
Ms. O'Connor?
Yes.
Mr. Slavoski?
Yes.
Passes.
And do we need another meeting, Superintendent?
Yes, actually, I would like to have a meeting, end of November to look at admissions.
Okay.
So let me get some dates. With the Thanksgiving break, that makes things difficult. How about December 20th?
Not late? So after our next meeting?
I mean, November 20th, I apologize, November 20th?
November 20th.
Next week.
Could we do 3 o'clock?
I won't be able to attend.
I can't, did you make it 3 o'clock?
You can still
4
have
o'clock?
it, I just can't attend that day.
That, you can't attend that day?
No, I cannot.
I could do the 31st, 3:30, November 21st, Thursday?
31st, you say?
Yep,
I can't make it.
21st, sorry.
20.
We can't make that.
3:30 or 4? 3:30?
Mary
4?
can't make that day.
the 20th at 3:30 that night.
No, I'm gonna be in Amherst that day.
Would it be easier to let you guys figure this out
Yes.
after the meeting?
Yes.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Murphy, seconded by Ms. Lowell. All in favor of adjournment? Anyone opposed? We're adjourned.
And you want to have a good Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, one and all.
How about Monday, the 23rd?